In a world where the powerful crushed the weak like ants, a baby cried from inside a basket. That cry would change the fate of an entire nation. This is the story of Moses, the prince who traded a palace for the desert and heard the voice that only speaks in silence. Pharaoh was like a caged lion, afraid of the growing Hebrew people. He ordered every newborn boy to be thrown into the river, like a king fearing the rising tide against his throne. But one mother, like a sparrow protecting her nest in a storm, hid her son. When she could hide him no longer, she trusted the river. The Nile, which had carried away so many lives, became the road of salvation, carrying the cries of hope and faith. The baby was found by a princess and raised as a prince among golden stones and walls carved with legends. But the blood in his veins didn't lie. Moses saw the suffering of his people, and it burned within him like a fire buried in ash. The cry of his people resonated deep within his soul and could not be ignored. One day the fire erupted. Moses defended a Hebrew brother and killed an Egyptian, like a wolf cast out by its own pack. He fled into the desert, where the palace faded into dust and silence became his new home. It was in that silence that he would hear the most powerful voice in the universe. On top of a mountain, Moses saw something impossible, a bush engulfed in flames, yet not burning up. A voice called out, "Take off your sandals. You are standing on holy ground." There, God spoke to the man who felt too weak to change fate. "Go to Pharaoh. Let my people go." Moses doubted himself, but not the mission. Before the throne of the most powerful man in the world, Moses brought no sword, only faith. His staff turned into a serpent. The river turned to blood. The sky went dark. Every plague was like thunder declaring, "You are not God, Pharaoh." But Pharaoh's heart was stone. Then came the darkest night and the loudest cry. The homes marked with blood were spared, while those that weren't lost their sons. Pharaoh gave in, and like a flock led by hope, the people left. But the desert was only the beginning. In front of them was the sea. Behind them were soldiers. But God never brings someone halfway to leave them there. The sea opened like curtains in a theater of faith. When the people crossed, the waters closed like pages turned in history. In the wilderness, Moses climbed the mountain to meet with God. Among clouds and thunder, he received no gold, no weapons, but words, 10 commandments, 10 paths, meant not just for one people, but for anyone still searching for the promised land within. Moses never entered the promised land, but he led others to it. Because sometimes the greatest role of a leader is not to conquer, but to light torches in the dark so others can find their way. Stories like Moses remind us that even those who feel unworthy can be called to something divine. If you enjoy learning through these timeless fables, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Here, every story is a journey, and you're invited to the next one.